intro.
Hello, sound check. Okay guys, so this time we will now discuss the analysis of a complex truss. So paano mo ba naka-classify yung isang truss as a complex truss? So basahin natin. So in analyzing a complex truss, we frequently find that method of joint and the method of section are not directly applicable. For example, let us consider the loaded complex truss shown in figure A. So shown here in the figure, as you can see, so ano yung napansin nyo agad? So kung mapapansin nyo, if at every joint, ilang members yung unknown. So diba kahit saan mo siya dalhin, ang number of members is equivalent to 3. So meaning, kahit saan point ka dyan mag-method of joint, wala tayong mapapalabas na answer. Kasi again, ang available equation mo lang is dalawa. Forces x and forces y. Now, the only thing that you can do here is because of this external applied load P, masosolve mo yung mga reaction dito sa A and E. So kapag ganito yung scenario guys, I mean na kahit mag-method of section ka dyan, wala tayong mako-compute. Okay? So basahin natin. After the reaction at A and E are found, we observe that no further progress can be made by either the method of joint or the method of section. So kapag ganyan yung case, therefore this is classified as a complex truss. Okay, so the analysis of complex truss is also known as the substitute member method. If I'm not mistaken, kung ganun ba talaga yung exact term niya. Pero ang principle kasi nito guys is maglilipat ka ng isang member, any member. So basahin natin yung procedure niya. Next slide. Okay, so one way to handle this is to substitute. So for example dito, yung for the bar AD and a bar AC, and thus obtain a stable simple truss as in figure B, which can completely analyzed by the method of joint for the given loading. So as per this given load P, kapag nag-substitute member ka, kasi before, di ba, ang existing member mo is itong member AD. So ginawa lang, nilipat niya yung AD papunta dito sa AC. So that will be the value of your S prime AC. So lahat na makukuha mong value dito guys is ito yung tinatawag na value for S prime. Okay? So gagawin mo, method of joint lang. Hahanapin mo lahat ng mga forces in each member hanggang maubos mo siya, and then you will proceed with the next step. So next, let the same simple truss be loaded with two equal and opposite forces X at A and D. So kung alin yung inalis mong member, lalagyan mo siya ng equal forces, opposite forces na X, representing the internal force in bar AD. So this X represents the force in bar AD as shown in the figure C. Again, a complete analysis can be carried out by the method of joint such that the internal force for each member will be expressed in terms of the function or unknown X. Okay, so the next step, ang mangyayari guys is yung X na load mo, papalitan mo siya ng value ng iyong 1 o papalitan mo ng 1 unit load. So di ba X ito before, mapapalitan siya ng 1. Okay, so or for convenience, we put a pair of unit force in place of X as given in figure D. So papalitan mo lang siya ng unit force dito. Before X yan, magiging 1 lang yan. It is apparent that the bar forces obtained from figure D times X will give those of figure C. Now, the analysis of figure can be made equivalent to the superposing effects of figure B and C. If we let the force of AC obtained from B and C or from B and D times X be equal to 0. So, ganito naman ang mangyayari dyan guys. Ang mangyayari lang, yung external applied load P mo mawawala. And then mapapalitan lang siya ng 1 unit load in replacement do sa X kanina. So, ang mangyayari dyan guys is ito yung magiging value ng delta mo. So, ang mangyayari, uulitin mo ulit isolve lahat ng mga forces on each member based dito sa 1 unit load na yan. So, uulitin mo ulit siya ng isa pang beses yung analysis of truss. Pero ito naman, method of joint lang. Parang inulit mo lang siya ng 2 beses. Okay, so for the last slide, thus if we let SI prime denote the force in any bar of B and delta I, the corresponding bar force of D, then the corresponding internal force of SI in any bar of A is expressed by. Okay, so ganito lang yung kwento niyan. Ang mangyayari kasi dito guys is that, eto kasi, di ba ang original na member mo is AD. Ang mangyayari, inilipat mo siya dito sa AC. Ngayon, itong AC to, considering the external applied load, lahat ng makukuha mong value dyan, again, is itong SI prime. And then, anong sunod na mangyayari? Di ba, tatanggalin mo yung external load, and then papalitan mo siya ng 1 unit load. And then, uulitin mo lang yung process, isosolve mo yung each forces on each member, considering this 1 unit load. And those value, that will be the value of your delta I. Ngayon, i-apply mo lang tong equation na to. Kasi, yung value ng SI niya, considering yung AC, is equals to 0. Kasi wala naman talaga siya sa original diagram mo. So, if this is 0, therefore, makakakuha ka ng value ng X. So, yung X na yan, that will be equals lang sa negative ng SI prime over the delta. And then, if you get the value of those X, of this X, ngayon, yan naman yung gagamitin mo para masolve mo yung mga forces on each member. So, gagawa ka lang ng table, talpak mo yung mga nakuha mong value for SI prime and yung delta. And since may X ka na, mahanap mo na yung tunay na value ng bawat member. Ang mangyayari lang dyan sa huli, magkakaroon ka lang ng isang unknown value, which is yung AD. So siguro alam niyo na naman yung gagawin para makuha yung AD. It's either mag-joint ka, mag-analysis of joint ka at joint A, since magkakaroon ka na ng value kay AB and AF, or mag-joint ka sa D para makuha yung value ng AD. Okay? So ganun lang yun. Dalawang beses ka lang magme-method of joint. Sasalpak mo, hanapin mo lang yung value ng X, and then pag may X ka na, gagawa ka lang ng table para mahanap yung mga value ng forces sa bawat isang member. And last, may method of joint ka lang either at A, at D for this example para mahanap mo yung missing member na AD. Okay guys, so kung nalilito, mas mauunawaan nyo to if magsosolve tayo ng isang sample problem. Okay guys, so let's start solving this complex truss problem. So a 20 kilonewton is acting at joint B. So we are required to solve for the forces in each member. So before that, i-identify muna natin yung mga slope. As you can see here, meron tayong mga inclined members. So ipakita natin yung mga slope na maproproduce natin. So ito, knowing that this height is equivalent to 1 and yung horizontal niya is 4, therefore ito ay magiging 1/4 the square root of 4 squared plus 1 squared, 17. And then ito, this member, so this is 8. And this is 5. So, tama ba? 8. And then 5. So, what will be the hypotenuse of that one? So, pindutin natin sa LQ. The square root of 8 squared plus 5 squared. Square root of 89. Okay, and last will be for this one. So, ano ba ang slope nito? So, we have 2, tapos 4, or this is divisible by 2, or 1 is to 2, and then square root of 5. Okay, so again, this is 5, 8, tama naman. Squared. Okay. Next, sunod natin, i-identify yung mga direction ng kanyang reaction. Okay, so paano ba to magre-react dapat? So, ang tendency kasi ng force na to is i-taob itong truss na ito. So, therefore, I could say na ito, upward. So, pangalanan natin siya as RE. Since roller naman siya yan, iisa. And then ito, so kung may horizontal kang papuntang kanan, so para ma-counteract yun, so meron ka ditong pakaliwa, which is equivalent to RAX na lang. And then kung ito'y pataas, so therefore dito, meron kang pababa, which has a value of RAY. Okay, so since apag-assume na tayo ng mga direction ng reaction, so isolve muna natin yung mga values ng bawat isa. Okay, so how can you solve the reaction for RE? So when we take summation ng moment at point A, the equation will be summation ng moment at A equals to 0, and then 8 times RE, and then equals to 20 times the perpendicular distance na 5. So what is the value of RE? So that is 100 over 8. Or that is equals to 12.5 kilonewton. Okay, so when you take summation ng forces ng Y, so this is also equals lang din sa RAY. Okay? Diretso ko na ha. Kasi itong dalawa lang naman tong force yung vertical. And then kapag nag-summation ng forces X, RAX is equals lang sa 20 kilonewton. Ayan na, tinititigan na lang natin. Hindi na tayo gumagamit masyado ng equation. So dapat na-practice nyo na din na kapag tinitigan nyo pa lang, nakikita nyo na kung ano yung value ng bawat reaction na yan. Ano? So at least na-atipid tayo ng space and at the same time, oras. Okay, so next, so apply na natin yung first step, which is the substitute method. So pili tayo ng member dito kung alin yung ililipat natin. So gawin ko na lang itong AD, ililipat ko sa AC. Or ang mangyayari, magkaaroon tayo ng panibagong member, which is this one. Okay? Ayan. So kapag nag-drawing ka ng panibagong truss, ganito yung magiging itsura niya. So i-pause ko muna, i-drawing ko muna yung figure, and then ibalik ulit natin. Na. Okay guys, so ito yung magiging itsura ng figure natin. Ayan. Nagkaroon ako ng konting mali dito kasi napasarap ako ng pagguguhit. Sana all nasasarapan. So, ayun nga. So mangyayari lang guys, ito yung magiging value natin ng SI prime. Ano? So again, ito yung original diagram. So lahat ng value niyan is yung S sub I mo. And then for this, dito sa pangalawa, this is your SI prime. Ito yung kung saan nilipat natin yung member na to. Okay, so we will do a complete analysis of a simple truss na since at kung mapapansin nyo, meron tayong point dito at point din na dalawang member lang yung unknown. Okay, so let's start. So again, doon ka magsimula kung saan merong dalawang unknown lang. So at joint D. So ito naman, naituro ko na sa inyo before. So again, gawa ka lang ng X and Y plane. But ito, actually, kahit hindi na natin kahit hindi na tayo gumawa ng free body diagram or joint D. Kasi kung tititigan mo lang yan, alam mo na yung value niyan, yung dalawang yan is equals to 0. Bakit? Kasi kung titingnan mo, alin lang ba dyan ang may horizontal component? Di ba yung member CD? Kung saan wala namang horizontal force acting dito sa joint D. So therefore, the value of CD is equals to 0. And kung 0 yan, kapag nag-summation ng forces Y, the value of your DE is also equals to 0. Okay? Pero ipakita na rin natin. Anyway, kahit anong direction yan, wala nang problema yan. Kasi nga, yung value niyan is magiging 0. So, pakita lang natin, mukhang may hindi naniniwala. So, this is 1, 2 square root of 5. So, again, when you take summation of forces x equals to 0, or summation of forces horizontal, assuming this direction is positive, so CD times 2 over square root of 5. Is there any force acting horizontally? So, wala, di ba? Equals to 0. Therefore, CD is equals to 0. And then, kapag nag-summation ka ng forces y, assuming upward direction is positive, so yung DE mo will be equals lang sa CD times 1 over square root of 5. Kung saan yung value ng CD mo is equals to 0. Therefore, DE is also equivalent to 0. Okay? So again, i-ano lang natin, lagyan natin ng mga boundary para magandang tingnan. So this is the step 1. Kung saan kumuha muna tayo ng mga reaction, and then next step will be for joint D. So this is step 2. So sabi nga, 0 yung CD, 0 din yung DE. So para ano lang din, aware kayo, lagyan nyo na ng marking ito. Ano? Lagyan nyo ng kahit ganyan. Para at least alam nyo na tapos na kayo doon sa point na yun. Okay, so saan kaya tayo susunod? So yan naman, ano lang yan eh, chain effect eh. It's either dito ka sa joint C, but pag dito ka pumunta, tatlo yung unknown. Hindi pa pwede. So ang option mo lang is to proceed with joint E. Kasi since may value ka na nito, so ang unknown na lang is this member and this member. Okay? So step 3 dito tayo at joint. Kita ba? Hindi. Ayan. So joint E tayo ha. So at joint E, kita naman. So at joint E, so what will be the free body diagram? So drawing mo lang yan. Okay, so ano yung mga forces acting at joint E? So meron kang 12.5 na reaction. And then yung DE mo, so this is also equals to 0. So ano na lang ba? So, 2 equation 2 unknown to. Okay? So ano bang gusto niyo maging direction? Anyway, kahit ano namang assume natin yan. So mag-assume na lang tayo na ito ay pababa. Itong BE. Itong BE. Ano? So, sabihin na lang natin siya na ganyan, compression, BE. So, ang slope niya is 5/8 square root of 89. And kung pa ganun siya, so let's just say na yung ating FE ay tension. FE. Okay? So, to equation to unknown. So, ang gawin natin, ito yung magko-control ng direction. So, dito tayo babase ng mga direction ng equation. So, let's start with summation of forces X. Assuming that all to the left forces are positive. So, summation of forces X is equals to 0. So, FE, multiply. So, ano yung X component? So, multiply mo ng 4 over square root of 17. Times 4 over square root of 17. And then, minus yung BE. So, minus BE times, ano yung kanyang horizontal? X times 8 over square root of 89. So, meron pa bang horizontal force? So, wala na. So, equals to 0. So, this will be our equation number 1. And then the next equation will be coming from summation of forces Y. So, since FE nga yung ating reference force, so ano ba yung Y component niya? So, pasaan? Di ba pataas? Kasi pa ganun siya. Pataas. So, summation of forces Y, assuming upward direction as positive, equals to 0. So, FE times, ano nga yung ating FE? Ito. So, times 1 over square root of 17. And then, since ito'y pababa, so minus BE times, ano yun? So, 8 kanina, so magiging 5 over square root of 89. And then, meron ka ditong pataas na 12.5. So, nandito siya. So, plus dito. So, pag nilipat mo sa kabila, magiging minus 12.5. Okay, so what will be the value of your BE and FE? So, when we solve equation 1, equation 2, solving equation 1 and 2, so, gamitan mo lang ng calcu. So, mode to equation 2 unknown. So, mode alpha yata yun. Ito. Mode A, simultaneous equation, number of unknowns, 2. So, input mo lang 4 divided by square root of 17. And then negative 8 divided by square root of 89. And then 0. And then 1 divided by square root of 17. Then minus, negative 5 divided by square root of 89. And then negative 12.5. The answer is, for FE, we have 34.3592 kilonewton. So, tama yung assume natin for FE na tension siya. And for BE, so that is equivalent to 39.3083 kilonewton. So, yung ating BE is in compression. So, tama naman. Okay, so ganun lang ulit. Markahan natin ito to give us an idea na tapos na tayo dun sa point na yun. Okay, so as you can see here, it's either pwede na tayong pumunta kay point B or kay point F. Okay? Pero ako, dito na lang siguro ako sa point F. Bakit kaya kay point F tayo? May naiisip na idea kung bakit mas gusto ko doon sa point F. This is step 3. Tama. Kasi kay point F, kung mapapansin nyo dito, yung value ng AF mo, itong member na to, is equals lang dito sa FE. Bakit? Kasi kapag nag-summation ka ng forces horizontal, itong dalawa lang naman to ang merong horizontal component. And pareho lang din naman sila ng slope, so ibig sabihin, the value of FE is just equals to AF. Pero, ipakita na rin natin. So, at joint F, ito na magiging tsura ng free body diagram niya. So, ganyan. And then, what are the forces acting to it? So, we have FE. Sabi ang FE dito, tension. So, dapat tension din siya dito. So, dito si FE, tension. So, FE has a value of 34.3592. 34.3592. And then ito, ayan si AF. So, kung mapansin nyo, di ba? Same slope. So, in-assume ko na lang siya into this direction na. Kasi kapag nag-horizontal component, pasaan si FE? Papunta dito sa kanan. So, dapat ito mapapunta sa kaliwa. Ano? Para mag-balance yung system natin. And then, yung turo ko nga sa inyo, so i-analyze mo na para malaman mo kung pasaan yung direction ni FC. Ito si FC eh. Hindi mo lang alam kung tension or compression. So, paano mo malalaman yung direction niya? Okay, so i-analyze mo. Diba ito, pag ganito na yung direction niya, so pasaan yung kanyang Y component? Parehong pababa. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the only option is, ito dapat magpataas siya para mabalanse niya yung system. So, this is your FC. Okay, so gaya nga ng turo ko sa inyo, AF is just equals dun sa member FE. So by inspection, AF is equals to 34.3592. Okay? And then kapag nag-summation tayo ng forces ng Y, summation of forces Y equals to 0, assuming upward direction as positive, the equation will be FC is equals to, so since pababa yan, doblehin na natin, no? Since pareho lang naman sila. 2 times 34.3592, and then tingnan mo yung F mo, ano nga yung slope nito? So kukunin mo nga Y component times 1 over square root of 17. Or the answer for FC is equivalent lang sa, so 2 times 34.3592 divided by square root of 17. So 16.6667 kilonewtons. So this is in tension. Okay? So again, ito, that is also in tension. Okay, so ayun. So we're done with joint F. So ilan na lang ang walang value? So isa, dalawa, tatlo na lang. So saan kaya tayo? Saan nyo gusto? Dito na lang sa joint A. Kasi kung mag-joint C tayo, 4 pa yung member. Dito na lang para mas madali. But before that, ano muna yung slope na to? Since gagamitin naman natin siya. So we all know this distance. Ito. So that is equivalent to, so 2 at 4. So ito kabuuan nito 8. So ang kalahati 4. So the horizontal is 4 and then the total height, so 4, 5, 7. So 4, 7 and then yung slope niya 4 squared plus 7 squared. So this is square root of 65. Okay, so wala tayong problema doon. So ano muna to? So this will be our step 4. Okay, so then next, we will now proceed with joint A. So at joint A, ano yung mga forces na makikita mo? So i-plot mo lang yung gawa ka ng free body diagram, X and Y axis. So sabi dito, meron kang, yung unahin mo muna yung reaction. So meron kang pababang 12.5. And then meron kang paganito, pakaliwa na 20 kilonewton. And then we have AF. So paano nga si AF? Tension. So pag ganito si AF, with a value of 34.3592. And aside from that, so meron tayong AC and AB. Paano natin siya i-assume? Okay, so sabihin ko na lang, since ito 20 lang, may component to eh. Anyway, wala namang problema kung mali yung assume natin. So assume ko na lang muna siya as compression, si AC. And then si AB gawing contention. AB. Okay, so wala namang problema yan. So again, 4, 7, square root of 65. Alas 10 na. So itong 34, wag kayo masyado magmamadali ha. Baka doon kayo magkamali sa mga slope. So relax lang. AF, ito ay 4, 1, square root of 70. Okay, so anong unahin natin? Summation muna tayo ng forces horizontal. Okay? Para makuha natin yung value ng AC. So assuming that all forces to the left is positive, equals to 0. So AC times 4 over square root of 65. And then, so ito, so ang gawin natin, transpose natin yung 34.3592. So ano yung kanyang horizontal? So 4 din. So times 4 over square root ng 17. So ano pa yung horizontal? Itong 20, no? So kapag nandito sa side na to, positive, nilipat mo sa kabila, magiging negative. So minus 20. Or the answer for AC is equivalent lang sa, encode lang natin. So we have 32.3592 times 4 divided by square root of 17 minus 20 times square root of 65 then divided by 4. So the answer is, positive naman, so 26.8742. So this is in kilonewton. So tama na siya ay compression. And then last will be summation of forces Y. So when we take summation of forces ng Y, equals to 0, assuming upward direction as positive, so we have AB. So equals, so unahin natin yung 12.5. And then itong AC pababa din, tama. Pag nilagay mo sa kabila, positive, so plus 26.8742. So times 7 over square root of 65. Okay, so ano pang natitira? Itong 34. So minus, since pataas siya, nilipat mo sa kabila. So minus 34.3592 multiplied by 1 over square root of 17. So with that, we will have a value of AB. So dito ko na lang isulat ha. Nandito siya. Para lang save natin yung space. Ayan. So encode lang natin sa ALQ. So we have 12.5 plus 26.8742 times 7 divided by square root of 65. And then minus 34.3592 times 1 divided by square root of 17. The answer is 27.5 kilonewton. So tama na, ito is in tension. Positive naman. So double check ko lang. Okay, so tama naman. Okay, so we're done with this two member. Ayan, ayan. So ano na lang kulang? Wala kita dito. So ano na lang kulang guys? So ang natitira na lang is itong si member BC. So for that, last magjo-join tayo sa last joint. So again, this is step 5 already. So step 5. Step 5 yan. And then last will be joint B. Dito na sulat. So at joint B, ano makikita mo sa joint B? So again, gawa ka lang ng X and Y plane o axis. And then, ano yung mga nandun sa joint B? So meron kang 20 kilonewton, ito. And then, meron kang AB dito. So ano nga yung AB natin? So tension, papalabas ka. Okay, so the value is 27.5. And then we have BE. So nasan po si BE? Ayan, compression. So kapag compression, papaloob. So value ng BE is ito ha. BE 39.3083. 39.3083 kilonewton. So with the slope of 5/8 squared ng 89. So 5/8 squared of 89. So na lang kulang si BC. So analyze muna natin paano kaya si BC. So assume na lang natin na ano siya, tension. So ito si BC with a slope of 1, 2 square root of 5. So isang equation lang naman gagamitin mo dito. At maalin pala, kahit ano. Pero para maikli lang yung, hindi, ganun din. Tatlo ang ano. So para mas ano lang, mas madali. Mag-summation of forces X na lang tayo. Since ito, wala ka namang kukunin na component. So assuming that all to the right positive, take summation of forces X. So we have, ano ba to? Sorry, this is BC. Ayan. So BC times 2 over square root ng 5. So equals to 39.3083. Transpose ko na, kaya naging positive. Times 8 over square root ng 89. And then since ito, papunta rin sa kanan, so nilipat ko sa kabila, so minus 20. So the answer for BC is equals to 39.3083. Then times 8 divided by square root of 89. So minus 20. Okay, good thing positive. So times square root ng 5 and then divided by 2. So 14.9072 kilonewton. So the answer, so tama na siya ay in tension. Okay, so we're done. So check ko lang if tama. And then after that, after checking, ang sunod naman natin gagawin is yung mga values for delta. So again, kapag delta na yung pinag-uusapan, tatanggalin mo yung external applied load. And then dito, maglalagay ka ng 1 unit load na magkabila. Okay? Okay guys, so upon checking the values for the forces in this member for SI prime, so tama naman. So ang sunod natin gagawin is to determine the value for delta I prime. So mangyayari lang dito is that yung iyong inalis na member, papalitan mo siya ng 1 unit load do sa magkabilang side. So tama, napasarap na naman ako ng pagguguhit. So ayan. And then, aalsin mo yung externally applied load. So mawawala si 20 kN. And take note that no reaction is needed for solving the delta I prime. So dito lang tayo magpo-focus sa 1 unit load sa magkabilang side ng A and B. Okay, so ganun lang ulit yung procedure. Pili ka ng joint kung saan meron lang dalawang unknown and yun lang ulit si joint D. So the first step, so mag-joint D ka muna. So at joint D, again, draw X and Y axis, plot mo yung mga forces. So we have here a 1 unit load. Aside from that, si CD. Paano ba magiging direction ni CD? So compression siya. Ano? So because of the horizontal component of this one, papunta siya sa aliwa. So dapat ma-counteract nito si CD. So dapat meron siyang pakanan na force. Kaya ginawa ko siyang compression. And then since yung dalawang forces na ito, pasaan yung kanyang Y component, di ba parehong pababa? So para mabalanse siya, kailangan ito pataas for compression din. Remember, DE. Okay, so anong una natin isosolve? So take summation of forces X, assuming that all to the right forces is positive. So we have CD. So ano slope niya? So 2 over square root ng 5 is equals to 1. Para makuha si 1, ano nga yung slope niya? So 8 over square root ng 89. So the value of CD will be equals to 8 divided by square root ng 89 times square root of 5 and then divided by 2. Or that is 0.9481. So that is in compression. Okay, next will be for the value of your DE. So mag-take ng summation of forces Y. So dito na lang. Take summation of forces Y equals to 0, assuming upward direction as positive. So DE is just equals to the sum of CD na 0.9481. So kunin mo lang yung Y component niya. CD, so it times mo ng 1 over square root ng 5. And then plus 1 times 5 over square root ng 89. Okay? So the value of your DE will be equals to 0.9481 divided by square root of 5 plus 1 times 5 divided by square root ng 89. So the answer is 0.9540. So that is also in compression. Okay. So markahan na lang natin dito. So kung napansin nyo, ito yung sumpa sa akin ng complex truss. Nagkamali ako kanina. So dito ako nagkamali, doon sa pinakauna. Yung pinagkamalian ko pa, mali lang ako ng pindot. Yun yung pinakamasakit doon. Kaya mangyayari niyan, di ba gagamitin mo yung value niya dito? So wala na. Nga. So ang gawin na lang natin, bilugan na lang natin. Ayan. Okay, so sunod natin, saan tayo sunod? So dito to kay joint E. Okay, so markahan lang natin to. So this is our step 1. Para ay step 2 at joint E. Ganun lang ulit, draw the X and Y axis. Plot mo yung mga forces known. So we have DE na compression, 0.954. And then we have BE and FE. Paano ba natin siya i-assume? Okay, so ano na lang. So sabihin na lang natin na to ay BE na tension and yung FE natin as compression. Okay. Ayun. So, 2 equation, 2 unknown. So, hindi ko na lang susulat yung slope. Tingnan na lang natin dito. Ano? So, ang gawin natin yung FE, yung gawin nating reference. Therefore, if you take summation of forces X equals to 0, the equation will be FE. So, 4 over square root ng 17 times FE. And then minus yung BE mo. So, ang BE, so summation of forces X, so ito yung slope na gagamitin. Or 8 over square root ng 89 ng BE equals to 0. So this will be our equation number 1, and then yung equation number 2 will be coming from summation of forces Y. So assuming downward direction as positive, take summation of forces Y equals to 0. So we have FE, so 1 over square root ng 17 times FE. So pataas, so magiging minus if you're going to take it in this side. So BE, so 5 over square root ng 89 times BE. Then equals, so 0.954. So positive dito, nilipat mo nga sa kabila. So magiging negative. 0.954. So this will be our equation number 2. So when we solve these two equations simultaneously, solve for equation 1 and equation 2. To solve for 1 and 2, or by process of elimination, we will have a value of FE and PE. Gamitan lang natin dito. Ayan. So, mode A, simultaneous equation. So, dalawang unknown. So input mo lang 4 divided by square root of 17. And then negative 8 divided by square root of 89. And then 0. And then 1 divided by square root of 17. Then negative 5 divided by square root of 89. And then negative 0.954. So the value of FE is 2.6223. So this is in compression. And yung BE mo, that is equals to 3. So that is in tension. Okay? So this is our step number 2. So ganun lang ulit. Markahan mo dito para at least aware tayo na tapos na tayo sa mga members na yun. Okay, so ang sunod nating joint will be at joint F. Okay, so next will be joint F. So, siguro alam niyo na yung gagawin dito. So kung titingnan nyo kasi, yung parang kanina lang ano. So by inspection alone, alam natin na yung AF mo will be equal sa FE. So pakita na lang din natin. So at joint F, ito yung magiging free body diagram mo. So ano nga si FE? Compression. So ang value niya is 2.6223. So dapat ito, compression din. So AF, which is equals to 2.6223 din. So by inspection na, hindi ko na isusulat yung equation. And then since pataas pareho yung kanyang Y component, so dapat ito, yung CF mo. So since pataas yung pareho, so dapat ito pababa or in compression also. CF. Okay, so para makuha yung value niyan, so just take summation ng forces ng Y equals to 0, assuming downward forces as positive. So we have CF is equals to, multiply ko na lang ng 2 ha, since dalawa to, pareho lang. And then pareho lang din naman yung slope. So 2 times 2.6223 and then multiply by, so ito, so multiply mo lang ng 1 over square root ng 17. So 1 over square root ng 17. So we have CF, putin lang natin. So 2 times 2.6223 times 1 divided by square root of 7. So 2 times 2.6223 times 1 divided by square root of 7. Or that is 1.2720. So that is in compression. Okay? So ito, makahan lang natin. And then next, so it's either joint A ka or joint C. Pero ito na lang. Ano? Mag-joint A na lang tayo. Talagyan lang natin dito ng marka. So this is our step 3. And then for step 4, mag-joint A tayo. So at joint A. So again, draw the X and Y plane. Then ilatag mo lang yung mga forces. So ano nga yung AF natin? Compression. So dapat dito compression din. So ang value niya is 2.6223. 2.6223. Okay, so dito meron tayong 1. And then ano pa? So ito na lang, si AC and si AB. So paano kaya yung direction nito? So I will say na ito is pag ganito ha. Kasi kung mapapansin nyo, 2.6222 na to. Ito 1 lang. So kailangan tulungan nito si AC, C1 para ma-counteract to. Anyway, the negative sign will tell you naman na mali lang yung naging assume natin. So kung ito ay pataas, so paano kaya si AB? So gawin ko na lang muna compression. Kasi dalawa na tong pataas. So ito gawin natin dalawang pababa din. So this is your AB. Okay, so ang una natin gawin, mag-summation muna tayo ng forces X para makuha yung AC. And then after that, summation ng forces Y para makuha si AB. Okay, so sulat lang natin yung equation. So take summation ng forces X equals to 0, assuming that all to the right forces is positive. The equation will be AC times, ano ba yung ng AC? Ayan. Ito, 4 over square root ng 65. 4 over square root ng 65. And then, so, is equals to 2.6223. 2.6223. And then, multiply by, ano ba itong 2.6223? AF. So, ito. So, times 4 over square root ng 17. And then, minus ito, 1. So, anong slope ni 1? So, ito siya. So, 8 over square root ng 89. So, times 8 over square root ng 89. So, ayan. Ito, kadugsong lang nito ha. So, what will be the value of your AC? So, pindutin lang natin. 2.6223 times 4 divided by square root ng 17 minus 1 times 8 divided by square root ng 89. 2 times square root of 65 and then divided by 4. So 3.4184. Or 3.4184. So that is in tension. So check ko lang ha. Nakakatakot kasi ito kung kamali pa tayo. Okay. So tama ito. And then times square root of 65 divided by 4. Okay. So tama naman. And then next, magsasummation tayo ng forces y. Assuming downward direction as positive, take summation of forces y equals to 0. So the equation will be AB equals to AC mo. Tapos ko lang. So 3.4184. So AC, ano nga si AC? Ito. So times 7. Ayun. Times 7 over square root of 65. So plus 1. Ito. Ang slope ni 1. So times 5 over square root ng 89. And then minus. So minus 2.6223 multiply by ano ba to? 1 over square root ng 7. So 1 over square root ng 17. So we will have a value of AB na equals sa 3.4184 times 7 divided by square root of 65 plus 1 times 5 divided by square root of 89 and then minus 2.6223 times 1 divided by square root of 17. So the answer is 2.8620. Okay, so this is in compression. So again, markahan mo na lang dito. So we're done with this also, this one and this one. Okay, so last joint na. So last will be joint B. Okay, so the last joint will be our joint B. So yes. So at joint B, again, just draw the X and Y plane. X and Y axis. So what is AB? Again, compression. Ganyan. So ang value niya is 2.862. Ano pa? So we have BE. So nasan yung BE mo? Ito. Kita ba? Ayan, si BE. 3 tension. So away. So 3. And then si BC. So si BC naman, kung pa ganun siya, dapat pa ganito to. So magsasummation lang tayo ng forces X para mahanap yung value ng BC. So by taking summation of forces X equal to 0, assuming in this direction or to the left forces as positive, so BC times, ano ba slope niya? 2 over square root ng 5. And then is equals to 3. So nasan yung 3? Ano ang slope nito? So 8. 8 over square root ng 89. So times 8 over square root ng 89. Aha. So what is the value of BC? So 3 times 8 divided by square root ng 89 times square root ng 5 divided by 2. So that is 2.8443. So that is in compression. Okay, so we're done solving for the value of the delta I prime. So i-check ko lang ulit and then after nun, gagawa lang ako ng table sa inyo and then ituturo ko siya kung paano nyo siya mas masosolve na mas mabilis. May ituturo ako sa inyong calc technique. Okay? Okay guys, so after tabulating the answers, so again, ito yung mga member. Ang gumawa ko ng table. Ano? So dito, meron ako first column, meron ako member. So sinulat ko dyan yung mga member na makikita mo. And then doon sa pinakababa, ito yung member na hindi talaga nag-exist doon sa original truss, yung member AC. Okay, so gagamitin kasi natin yan para mahanap natin yung value ng X. Again, yung equation kasi natin is ito. So SI, ito yung tunay na value niya, is equals to SI prime. Ito yung una natin ginawa, yung values na nakuha natin pinakauna, or itong diagram na to, plus the delta I prime. So ito yung pangalawa, kung saan ito yung mga 1 unit load, and then multiply by X. Okay? So after tabulating that, so ang ginawa ko lang, yung positive ko is in tension, and then yung mga negative values are yung compression. Okay? So, kapag na-tabulate mo yan, ang sunod mong gagawin is itong 4-member AC. So again, considering this equation, we all know that yung AC mo, yung SAC, yung member AC, do not exist or the value is equals to 0. And then equals lang siya do sa SI prime. Saan yung value niya is negative 26.8742. And then plus, so yung delta, 3.4184. And then multiply by x. So the value of x is just equal sa 26.8742 divided by 3.4184. Or that is equivalent to 26.8742 divided by 3.4184. Or that is equals to 7.8616. Okay? 7.8616 kilo Newton. Okay? So take note lang guys sa pagtatabulate na ganito. Tingnan mabuti ha, kasi before, nakapagturo naman ako ng Churi 1, so naituro ko ito. Tama lahat ng ginawa. Kaso nangyari, doon sa pagta-transfer sa table, doon nagkapalit-palit. E di, nangyari, mali na yung nakuhang value ng x. So wala din. Just nakakalungkot kasi tama naman yung ginawa niya. Dito lang talaga siya mablay. So wala din, 0 din. Well, that's life. Okay, so ang gawin natin dito, tuturuan ko kayong paano to encode. So ang gagamitin natin, gagawa tayo ng equation gamit ang inyong calculator. So mag-a-assign kayo ng value para sa mga ito. So ang gawin natin, ito naman, sample, nasa sa inyo kung anong gusto nyo gawin value niya. So itong value ng SI prime, so gawin natin siyang equals do sa A. O dito sa alt. Ayan, dito sa A na yan. And then itong delta, so gawin natin siyang B. And then yung value ng x, yung nakuha na natin kanina, yung x. So i-store lang natin, shift, store, x. Answer. Anyway, ano na lang yun? X na lang yan. So mangyayari dito guys is, ano nga yung ano natin? So alpha plus beta times yung x. Okay? So sunod, kapag na-input mo yan, so mangyayari lang lahat ng value ng A, yung SI prime, ito yung delta I prime, and then yung x, ito na-compute natin ng 7.8616 kN. So i-store nyo na lang yun. Pero ang gagawin ko dito, ito lang. So calculate. So hihingi sa inyo yan ng value ng A. So again, yung value ng A is ito. Ito mga values dito. Okay? So para kay AB, ang value niya is 27.5. So encode mo lang. And then equals mo. So hahanap ng value ng B. Hihingi sa'yo ng value. So encode mo lang yung katapat ng AB. So that is negative 2.862. Okay? And then hihingi ng value ng X. So yung X mo, ito na lang. Ito. So i-type mo na lang. So 7.8616. And then equals mo lang. And then equals mo ulit. So magbibigay sa'yo ng value. So ito lang yung isusulat mo dyan. So pag positive, that is in tension. Okay, so lagay mo positive. So ganoon lang ulit, calculate. Hihingi ulit ng value ng A. So ilagay mo lang ito katapat ng BC or 14.9072. So hihingi ulit ng value ng B. So that is negative 2.8443. And then yung X, hindi naman nagbabago, equals mo na lang ulit. So the answer is negative 7.4535 kN. So kapag negative yan, therefore this is in compression. So, ganun lang ang gagawin nyo dito. Ano? So, hanggang makuha nyo lahat ng sagot. And then, finally, kung mapapansin nyo dito, wala kasing value yung iyong member AD. So, paano mo siya masosolve? So, since may mga value ka na nito, lalabas na itong mga value nito, ano? So, mangyayari dyan, guys, nasan ba yung iyong member AD? Diba ito? So, ang gawin mo na lang, mag-joint D ka. So, at joint D. Okay? So, gawa ka ng X and Y plane. Ganun lang din yung parang ginagawa mo kanina. So, meron ka dito member CD. And then, meron ka dito na member DE. Okay? So, kung wari lang ha, tension pareho. Kung wari lang. CD and DE. So, ito lang yung unknown mo, si AD. So, paano mo makukuha yung AD? Tama, mag-summation ka lang ng forces X. So, let's just say na ito ay compression. Ano? So, So, take summation ng forces x, since may value ka na nito, base dito sa mga napagkukuha natin dito, and then yung ginamitan mo ng formula nito. And then, same as for DE, magkakavalue ka niyan. Mahanap mo yung AD. And that is the process of solving a complex truss. Medyo mahaba. Madali lang yung solution. Forces x and forces y lang talaga. Kaso medyo merong maging source of error. So, isa dyan, kapag naduling-duling ka sa mga slope or yung pag-encode mo sa ALQ, so yun yung mga kailangan yung bantayan. At the same time, yung paglilipat ng sagot, minsan hindi maiwasan na nagkakapalit yung sagot. And ayun lang. So yun na yung mga tip ko lang sa inyo kung ano yung mga kailangan yung bantayan. Okay? Okay guys, so that ends our discussion. So thank you for listening. And if you have comments or question, please lagay nyo lang sa comment section. Okay? And ito lang, payo lang, try nyo tong i-resolve nyo siya. Ang gawin nyo, instead of transferring this member, ang gawin nyo, ibang member ang ilipat nyo. For example, itong itong CF. Ilipat nyo pa ganito. So, try nyo lang. So, dapat pareho lang ng lalabas sa sagot dito. Magkakaiba sila dito. Okay? So, itong table na ginawa ko, tapusin nyo para malaman nyo yung final answer. And then, i-compare nyo siya by transferring other member. So, in that way, maprapractice kayo sa pagsosolve ng complex truss. So, yun lang. Thank you and peace.